Mr. Mayor, it's time.
I'd like to call this regular meeting of the City of Douglas City Council for June 12th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Would you please join me in standing, those that are able to, for our Pledge of Allegiance, and remain standing for our invocation for tonight's meeting by Pastora Nubia Hughes from the Iglesia Vida de Fe.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for inviting me. It is my honor to do the opening prayer. The Bible says in the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 14, from the Passion Translation, people lose their way without wise leadership, but a nation succeeds and stands in victory when it has many good counselors to guide it. Therefore, I pray that this will be a productive meeting, that the right solutions and the right decisions are made for the benefit of the community, that the Lord may grace our counselors with wisdom and good judgment to fulfill the role you've entrusted them with serving our community and our people. I speak unity, peace, and direction over our counselors in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Mrs. Hughes. Item number 4, roll call, please.
Mayor Donald Hewish,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tempore Margaret Morales. Present. Councilmember Jose Montaño,
Here.
Councilmember Dania Acosta. Present. Councilmember Ray Shelton,
Present.
Councilmember Michael Valdenegro,
Present.
Councilmember Richard Acosta,
Present.
City Manager Ana Urquijo,
Present.
City Attorney Dennis Fitzgibbons,
Present.
City Treasurer Luis Pedrosa.
Present. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 5, reading of a proclamation. Item A, Juneteenth Day. Whereas on January 1, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln signed an Emancipation Proclamation and established that all enslaved people in Confederate states shall be set free. And whereas on June 19, 1865, in Galveston, Texas, enslaved men and women received word of General Order Number 3, proclaiming to the people of Texas that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. And whereas the African-American men and women of Texas were kept in bondage over 2 years after President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation went into effect and had not yet been granted their God-given freedom. And whereas in 1866, Black Freedom organized the first celebration of Jubilee Day on June 19, featuring music, ethnic cuisines, prayer services, and other activities. And whereas celebration of the end of slavery, which became known as Juneteenth, is the oldest known public celebration of the end of slavery in the United States. And whereas Juneteenth celebration is a reminder of the precious promises of freedom, equality, and opportunity, which are at the core of the American dream. And whereas Juneteenth provides an opportunity to recount and remember that freedom has not always been extended to every life in America. And whereas every day is an opportunity to strive to fully realize the ideals of our nation and ensure that the promise of a free and just society is guaranteed for every citizen. And whereas we humbly recognize each and every human being is made in the image of God. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Donald C. Hewish, Mayor, and on behalf of the City of Douglas Council, do hereby proclaim June 19, 2024 as Juneteenth Day in the city of Douglas, Arizona, and urge all citizens to become aware of the significance of this celebration in American history and in the heritage of our nation and state. Thank you. Item number 6, presentation of awards. We have with us tonight, the winners of our Douglas Days Parade. And we'd like to start off with, our third place winner, Miss Douglas Days City Ambassador Denise Briseño. Denise, please. Denise, you gotta stay up here until we get everybody else up here. Thank you. Second place winner, the Rough Riders, Douglas Little League T-Ball, Yasmin Esposito. That's right. You guys gotta put on your Rough Rider faces, come on now. And the first place winner for the 2024 Douglas Day Parade is Douglas Chino Poblana. Who's, there she is, right there. Thank you. Congratulations, and you're welcome to stay or leave. It won't offend us at all. Thank you all.
You're welcome. Oh, goes everybody.
See you. Item number 7, persons wishing to address the council in writing or verbally on any item not on the agenda. I'm gonna take the privilege of the chair at this time to introduce our new planner that's just been on board this past little bit, Cassandra Gomez. Can you come up and introduce yourself, please, Cassandra?
Hello, good afternoon. I'm Cassandra Gomez, and I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be here in front of everyone today. I recently graduated from Arizona State University with a bachelor's degree in urban planning. And during my time at ASU, I had the privilege of working with the city of Tempe in their building safety department. And that opportunity allowed me to grow an interest in planning. I grew up in Douglas and have moved back from Tempe, and I am very interested in seeing how my passions for community spaces and fostering community spaces can help me connect with residents and help the city connect with its residents. I am very grateful for the opportunity once again, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Cassandra. and Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Ms. Andrade, do we have any other requests this
Yes,
evening?
Mr. Mayor.
Please. Yeah. We have a request to, for items not on the agenda by Ms. Alice Novoa, please. And then we also have you scheduled for item 9G. Also, would you like to speak now and then? Perfect. Please.
Last evening, adding to what the pastor just said in Hosea 8:4, it says, "You raise up kings, but not by me. Therefore, I have not consented with what you are doing." And I'm paraphrasing. He says, "And I will remove your idols and those you put without my consent." And this is Hosea 8:4. And then on June 19, there's where we come in with Amendment 14, which carries it was for slaves. It's not for illegal aliens. It's not, and I'm using legal terms, it's for people to become naturalized citizens and under the jurisdiction of the United States, not from any other place. So anchor babies are not covered. This is Amendment 14. The reason I want to call to the public is because I got into your website and your website does not let me into what I want to do, or, there's different sites I want to get into. And what I wanted is a public records request on Ms. Alma Vildosola. And I made the request, but it never went through. And I did it on April 29, 2024. And it says he's supposed to go to a certain person, and apparently that person never gave me that public request that I requested. And also, I would like to speak on ARS 38231. For some of you, if you want to write it down, ARS 38321, all employees from the governor to the garbage collector that work for the United States government here in Arizona, local, county, state, and federal level, you all have to take the oath of office. And this is the request right here. You can look it up, or I can make you copies and I'll give it to you. But everybody has to take it. If not, they have to be removed immediately. Everybody who doesn't take the oath of office. And you can only take the oath of office with a judge who has the jurisdiction to do it. Thank you very much.
So if you have that request for information, you can drop it off with Ms. Andrade, the city clerk. Item number 8, discussing decision on approval of consent agenda items. Item A, expenditures for the month of May 2024 totaling $2,256,512.88. Item B, meeting minutes for May 8th, 2024. Item C, liquor license 009 for Speedway Liquor Store number 2977. And item D, employee health insurance contracts. May I have a motion regarding the consent agenda, please?
Mayor,
Yes, please, Ms. Morales.
I move that mayor and council approve consent agenda items A, B, C, and D as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Morales, second by Mrs. Acosta to approve the consent agenda items as presented. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Montaño,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta. Yes. Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Richard Acosta,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, motion carries. And I'm excited to say that that item D, employee health insurance contracts, the price remained the same as last year. So, good news. Item number 9, discussion decision on approvals. Item A, the second reading of ordinance number 24-1190. An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, levying upon the assessed valuation of the property within the city of Douglas, subject to taxation, a certain rate upon each $100 of valuation, sufficient to raise the amount estimated to be required in the annual budget and providing funds for general municipal expenses, all for the fiscal year ending the 30th day of June 2025, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. Mr. Martinez, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Every fiscal year, the city of Douglas is required to adopt its annual property tax levy and submit certification of the levy to Cochise County Board of Supervisors no later than the third Monday in August. This year, the certification must be submitted on or before August 19th, 2024. The recommended property tax for this year is to lower the city's property tax from 1.1147 to 1.1138. Which would levy $703,542. This is a reduction in the tax rate of 0.0009.
Thank you. May I have a motion regarding the second reading of ordinance?
Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Acosta, please.
I move that mayor and council approve the second reading of ordinance number 24-1190 by number and title ordinance only.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Acosta, second by Mr. Boavenegro to approve the second reading of ordinance number 24-1190 by number and title only. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Montaño,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro.
Yes.
Councilmember Richard Acosta,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, motion carries. Item number 9B, discussing decision on first reading of ordinance number 24-1191. An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, adopting by reference Appendix Q of the International Residential Code IRC 2021 edition and amending the Douglas Municipal Code, Chapter 15.04, Uniform Building Codes, as set forth in Exhibit A, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. We're grateful, Ms. McLaughlin, that you're here with us this evening. In case those that may not know, she's works for the county, but helps us out on much needed projects. Floor is yours.
Thank you. And I have prepared a presentation if that's good. And while that's coming up, good evening. My name is Christine McLaughlin and I am the Planning Division Manager for Cochise County. I also serve as contract planner for the city of Douglas on an as-needed basis. Thank you for having me tonight. Tonight, I'm here to discuss a proposed amendment to the city of Douglas building codes. Specifically, this is the staff presentation for docket BCA 2024-02, a tiny houses amendment. If approved, this would formally adopt Appendix Q of the 2021 International Residential Code and provide for local amendments. This item was staff initiated in response to inquiries from local residents and builders. Building codes are intended to ensure the design and construction of safe, sustainable, affordable, and resilient structures. It's the policy of City of Douglas to adopt building codes from the International Code Council, ICC. Building codes from the ICC are revised and made available to the public on a 3-year cycle. The City of Douglas Building Division reviews all residential permit applications in accordance with the 2006 International Residential Building Code, IRC. In 2018, the ICC published the first iteration of an appendix entirely devoted to tiny houses. This is known as Appendix Q. Overall, building code appendices enhance the comprehensiveness and usability of the IRC by providing additional guidance and resources for code users. More specifically, Appendix Q relaxes various requirements in the body of the code as they apply to houses that are 400 square feet in area or less. As I state on the slide, unless otherwise stated in Appendix Q, tiny houses must comply with the more generalized IRC regulations. A dwelling is a single unit that provides complete independent living facilities for one or more persons, including permanent provisions for living, sleeping, eating, cooking, and sanitation. It must include everything on this slide. Habitable rooms, which are rooms for living, sleeping, eating, or cooking, must be at least 70 square feet. I'll note the 2006 IRC requires that every dwelling have at least one habitable room that is 120 square feet. Additional habitable rooms must be 70 square feet. The kitchen must include a sink. A bathroom must include a toilet, sink, tub, or shower. And back to the slide, here are some building code graphics which illustrate spacing and dimension requirements. Although not required, many tiny homes include lofts. Lofts are upper level spaces, usually with an open floor plan. With tiny homes, they often have a slope. Lofts may be used for storage or sleeping. They must be at least 35 square feet and not less than 5 feet in any horizontal direction. Again, here's a graphic that shows the slope factor and how it factors into minimum floor area. And here's a few more items that the building code provides guidance on. Building elements, including egress, roof access, landings, handrails, stairwell guides, alternating tread devices, shift ladders, loft guards, and emergency escape and rescue openings. The Planning and Zoning Commission met on June 6th and conducted a public hearing on this amendment. No members of the public were in attendance. The commission unanimously approved the recommendation of approval to be forwarded to mayor and council. There was a lot of discussion from the commission regarding related to zoning and the impact of the amendment on citing tiny homes and their development standards citywide. Just to clarify, this item tonight is a building code amendment. The building code regulates design and construction of structures. It provides minimum room sizes, fixture clearances, ceiling height. It does not regulate minimum lot size, building size, setbacks, height, or density. That is in Title 17 of the DMC. Tiny houses are considered single-family dwellings and are currently permitted in any zoning district that allows for single-family dwellings. The commission has requested a work session to consider whether minimum building size should be included within certain zoning districts and just to examine this issue further in regards to zoning. Specifically, staff proposes adoption of Appendix Q of the 2021 International IRC. If approved, an adoption reference will be added to Chapter 15.04.010 of the Douglas Municipal Code. Further, staff proposes to add a new section, 15.04.040, to include local amendments. Local amendments are modifications or additions made by jurisdictions to tailor the code to its specific needs, climate conditions, or regulatory preferences. Staff has attached all recommended amendments related to tiny homes. In this case, many references within the appendix are made to the larger IRC code. This includes egress, roof access, landings, handrails, and the like. Several items, including loft guards and alternating tread, are not included in the 2006 IRC, but are included in newer editions. Where there is not guidance provided in the 2006 IRC, staff recommends directing users to the newer 2021 version by local amendments. This concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Christine. May I have a motion regarding the placement of the ordinance, please?
Mayor.
Yes, please, Ms. Acosta.
I move that mayor and council approve the placement of ordinance number 24-1191 on its first reading by number and title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Acosta, second by Mr. Shelton to approve the placement of ordinance number 24-1191 on its first reading by number and title only. Questions or comments, discussion, please.
I've got a comment.
Mr. Shelton, please.
Recently, I was watching TV and this came about, and there's so many families right now that are starting out that could use this type of dwelling or house. So I think it's a good idea, but we have to specify maybe where they can build these houses or not build. So that's what I'd like to say.
Thank you, Mr. Shelton. Anyone else?
Mayor.
Yes, please, Mrs. Costa.
I'm not sure that really specifying where these houses can or cannot be built should be an issue. I know that, as homeowners, sometimes we are a little hesitant or, about people building, smaller structures or things that we may perceive as affecting our property value, but it seems to me that these are best suited for certain plot types and, may not, you may not want, one of the larger, residential plots, to build a tiny home on, or even the community, you probably can't even do that. I'm not sure. Maybe that's something that should be looked into, if you can put multiple units in one of our larger, residential lots. But I do agree with, Mr. Shelton that even, senior citizens sometimes could very well benefit from these, as well as younger families or single people or people who are just in town temporarily. So I like this idea. You see it all over the place, popping up, and it seems, if constructed properly and within code, that, property values, I don't think would be affected, but that's my opinion, and I'm glad to see this finally come to us for voting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Costa. Anyone else? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Montaño,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta.
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Richard Acosta.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, motion carries.
an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, adopting by reference Appendix Q of the International Residential Code, IRC 2021 edition, and amending the Douglas Municipal Code, Chapter 15.04, Uniform Building Codes as set forth in Exhibit A, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. May I have a motion regarding the approval of the first reading?
Mayor,
Mrs. Costa?
I move that mayor and council approve the first reading of ordinance 24-1191 and to place it on its second reading by number and title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Costa, second by Mr. Shelton to approve the first reading of ordinance number 24-1191 and place it on its second reading by number and title only. Any other questions or discussion? Christine, this may be an unfair question for you, but we recently approved the overlay zones in our community, which part of the discussion was to help allow for this. Is there, in your presentation, you mentioned a need of the discussion or the request of the planning and zoning for the discussion on specific areas? What's the difference in those two concepts?
What I believe the intent was for the more flexible overlay zoning was to, they're kind of the same, right? It's to promote housing options and constructability in a more efficient manner. So they really kind of go hand in hand. The tiny homes is an alternate single family dwelling type that we don't have a lot of currently in Douglas. It is seen as a good, affordable housing option, good for intergenerational living. It can be used as accessory dwelling structures where permitted. It's also good for first-time home owners because they tend to be lower in cost overall. The overlay zoning does allow relaxation in terms of setback and placement on site. Typically with tiny homes, they're a smaller footprint. So there tends to be a lesser impact and it's easier to site them on a plot of land just because they don't take up as much space and they don't tend to intrude on setbacks as much. But if you look at both initiatives together, it's Douglas really showing that you're trying to accommodate the needs for housing and affordable housing in particular.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion?
I have one.
Mr. Valdenegro, please.
I thought our legislative up at the state passes saying that populations of 80,000 were allowed to have tiny homes. Is that correct? I
There
mean,
was, yeah, some by right legislation passed for accessory dwelling units. But like you mentioned, it was for larger municipalities where it was mandated. There were also a few other regulations. There was changes to like how the state regulates chickens that would impact Douglas. That one was more targeted towards the larger municipalities, though.
so this dwelling, could it be mobile? Or does it have to be permanent? The tiny home?
The tiny homes, in terms of building code, really either can meet building code. Typically, the ones on wheels are considered to be RVs because they have the HUD stickers and they are inspected a little differently. But essentially, if they can meet the requirements of this building code, then potentially they meet the requirements of code. And it's really up to zoning whether or not you consider that to be an RV or you consider it to be a permanent dwelling. In the county, we require it be on a permanent foundation.
Like a mobile home? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baldonado. Anyone else? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Montaño,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta.
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton.
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro.
Yes.
Councilmember Richard Acosta.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, motion carries.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, adopting by reference Appendix Q of the International Residential Code, IRC 2021 edition, and amending the Douglas Municipal Code, Chapter 15.04, Uniform Building Codes as set forth in Exhibit A, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. Thank you, Christine, very much. Item number 9C, discussion decision on first reading of ordinance number 24-1192. An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the sale of a parcel of land located in the north side of 11th Street, approximately 1,242 feet west of Pan American Avenue, with assessor's parcel number 409-06-020E3 to OVA Enterprises LLC pursuant to terms entered into by the parties, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof. Mr. Pedrosa, please.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. The Douglas IDA recently sold parcel 409-06-020L to OVA Enterprises containing a warehouse that was being leased by the IDA to OVA Enterprises. The city owns the thin parcel that's adjacent to this warehouse that OVA now occupies within the existing compound. OVA Enterprises is interested in buying the parcel, and mayor and council provided direction to staff to negotiate the sale. City council recently took action in the previous meeting to release the parcel sold by the IDA of its previous lease and management agreements held between the IDA and the city in 1978 and 79 respectively, established in partnership at the time to attract industrial development to the area. It wasn't clear how the parcel split of the warehouse and the small city parcel came about, but the parcel remained under the lease agreement for use by the IDA. With the IDA now selling the large parcel, the city-owned parcel is no longer under any lease. Therefore, the city may proceed with the proposed sale. The city-owned parcel with designated APN number 409-06-020E currently intersects the warehouse facility compound and encompasses the existing entrance. The parcel is about 55 feet wide and 363 feet in length for a total of 0.47 acres. The parcel would be considered an undevelopable parcel on its own, and since it's already part of the compound, OVA Enterprises would like to continue to use it. The mayor and council directed staff to negotiate the purchase of this parcel and the proposed purchase price of $15,000 with $5,000 due at the opening of escrow. In your packets is the standard purchase agreement that is included for consideration for the sale of this parcel.
Thank you, Mr. Pedrosa. May I have a motion regarding the approval of the placement of the ordinance, please?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Acosta, please.
I move that the mayor and council approve the placement of the ordinance number 24-1192 on its first reading by number and title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Costa, second by Mr. Baldanegro to approve the placement of ordinance number 24-1192 on its first reading by number and title only. Any questions? Comments? Please. Hearing none, roll call please.
Councilmember Montaño,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta.
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Richard Acosta.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, motion carries.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the sale of a parcel of land located on the north side of 11th Street, approximately 1,242 feet west of Pan American Avenue, with assessor's parcel number 409-06-020E3 to OVA Enterprises LLC, pursuant to terms entered into by the parties, establishing severability of components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. May I have a motion regarding the approval of the first reading, please?
Mayor,
Yes, Mrs. Morales, please.
I move that mayor and council approve the first reading of ordinance number 24-1192 and to place it on second reading by number and title only.
Is there a second?
Second.
All together now.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Morales, second by Mr. Montaño to approve the first reading of ordinance number 24-1192 and place it on the second reading by number and title only. Any questions or discussion, please? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Montaño,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta.
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Richard Acosta,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, motion carries.
An ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the sale of a parcel of land located on the north side of 11th Street, approximately 1,242 feet west of Pan American Avenue, with assessor's parcel number 409-06-020E3 to OVA Enterprises LLC, pursuant to terms entered into by the parties, establishing several components of ordinance and establishing an effective date thereof.
Thank you. Item number 9D, discussion decision on resolution number 24-1603. A resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, adopting an addendum to the intergovernmental agreement between the city of Douglas and Cochise County for city planning services. Ms. Gonzalez, please.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council, staff, and members of the public. The city of Douglas and Cochise County entered into an intergovernmental agreement known as an IGA for planning services on May 15, 2019 by resolution number 19-1335A, and is looking to approve an addendum which amends section 2 of the agreement to increase the hourly rate charged by Cochise County from $75 to $95. The city has found it necessary to rely on Cochise County for planning services due to a vacancy created by the recent resignation of the city planner. The assistance provided by Cochise County through the IGA is essential in helping city staff meet ongoing initiatives to help shape the community. I'll entertain any questions.
Thank you. Ms. Gonzalez, may I have a motion regarding the resolution, please?
Mayor,
Yes, please, Mr. Costa.
I move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 24-1603.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Costa, second by Mr. Baldanegro to approve resolution number 24-1603. Any questions?
Mayor,
Yes, please, Mrs. Costa.
now that we have our own city planner, what is the transition expectancy for our city planner to kind of take over, or is it going to continue to be a joint effort?
Mr. Mayor, Mrs. Acosta, yes, the IGA has been in existence, like I mentioned, in 2019 for any time that we have gaps or there are issues that staff cannot resolve alone.
Mhm.
And we need assistance, and so that will be ongoing. Our city planner, our current city planner was just recently hired on June 6th. And so there's going to be some time for her to transition and train and get really acquainted with the position. So we're hoping to rely less and less on the services of the county, but we like to have them there for when it's necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mayor,
Yes, please, Mr. Montaño.
just a comment. I know we just hired Ms. Gomez. Welcome aboard again. I just wanted I guess for everybody's, education or however we want to call it. I think this would be a great, a great process for our new planner to get some type of mentoring from somebody that's been doing this for for a long time. And she just recently graduated. I think that would be a great way to use this IGA.
Thank you, Mr. Montaño. Anyone else? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Montaño,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta.
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Richard Acosta.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, motion carries. Item number 9E, discussion decision on resolution number 24-1604. A resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the city manager to execute a renewal of the intergovernmental agreement between the city of Douglas and Cochise College to provide reliable passenger transportation services to college riders, combining resources to continue to promote educational opportunities and foster economic development in the city of Douglas. Ms. Gonzalez, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. So Douglas Rides and Cochise College wish to renew the IGA that transports students from Douglas and Bisbee to the Douglas Cochise College campus. This agreement was originally entered into 4 years ago. So the total contract price that will be paid by the college for fiscal year 24-25 is $26,000, and there's no change from the previous IGA. The college wishes to continue to subsidize the cost for all college riders, whether it's going to the Douglas or Sierra Vista campus. We have proposed, and the Cochise College has accepted the passes at a little bit of an increase from the previous contract year. And the city performs 4 trips daily, Monday through Thursday, to the college from Douglas, and 2 trips daily from Bisbee. The city can accommodate this request with existing resources, and staff is recommending approval.
Thank you. No motion regarding the resolution.
Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Bolanego.
I move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 24-1604.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Bolanego, second by Mr. Shelton to approve resolution number 24-1604. Any questions or discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, please, Mr. Costa.
you know, we're students and employees that work at Cochise College. Very fortunate to have this service. So, you know, I love my Cochise College. I worked there during the basketball games, and this is very fortunate. Back in my day when I attended Cochise College, you know, it is pricey to drive up and down every day. So thank you for, you know, bringing this up, and it'll help the students out basically. And I know gas prices are going up and everything, so this will definitely help out. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Costa. Anyone else? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Montaño,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton.
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro.
Yes.
Councilmember Richard Acosta.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, motion carries. Item number 9F, discussing decision on resolution number 24-1605. A resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the city of Douglas to enter into a golf course management services agreement with the Douglas Public Facility Municipal Property Corporation for continued management of the golf course located at 1372 East Fairway Drive, Douglas, Arizona. Mr. Pedrosa, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. golf course facility, an alcoholic beverage concessionaire agreement between the Douglas Public Facility Municipal Property Corporation, or MPC, and the city of Douglas expired on July 11th, 2022. The proposed new golf course management agreement proposes a new agreement with changes to the operation and responsibilities of parties in the operation of the Douglas Municipal Golf Course. With the recent hiring of the golf course superintendent under city payroll, there is increased direct city involvement in the management of the course. The new proposed management services agreement includes the golf course superintendent involvement as well as operational changes. That includes cash handling oversight to come back to the city as recommended by the city audit in order to improve cash handling procedures. The new agreement provides that the MPC would furnish management services in the form of hiring employees for the grounds, the pro shop, the bar, hall operation. The MPC shall operate the golf course and associated services. The golf superintendent, under the direction of the city, shall manage the maintenance of the greens, the fairways, the practice ranges, and the RV park. MPC grounds employees shall take direction from the golf superintendent. The agreement also directs for all cash collected by MPC to be deposited with the city as prescribed by the finance department, and all accounts payable invoices to be reviewed by the golf superintendent or MPC employees to be verified and to issue payment. The city will account for all golf revenues and expenditures within the golf fund, including the golf superintendent's salaries and benefits, but excluding the MPC's employees' costs. The agreement places the responsibility of insurance with the city, except for workers' comp, that will remain under the MPC. The city's insurance policy through AMRRP can accept the course into the city's umbrella policy at a much reduced rate, saving approximately $32,000 in insurance premiums. The agreement is also structured to pay a management fee to the MPC in the amount of what the MPC will spend on the employee salaries and the employee-related expenses. That includes taxes or employee taxes and workers' comp. The projected employee cost for the upcoming fiscal year is $200,000. The management fee replaces what the city referred to as a subsidy. In previous years, the subsidy ranged from $180,000 to $200,000 a year. The agreement also includes the use of the city's Series 5 liquor license on the premises with proper liquor handling training for its employees. The city will be responsible for the maintenance of the buildings on the course. Although in the previous agreement with the MPC, in practice, the city or the responsibility fell with the MPC, the city always played a role in helping the MPC due to a lack of resources and funding to be able to address facility needs. The agreement is proposed to become effective July 1, 2024, with the start of the new fiscal year. And the MPC provided comments and approved the agreement unanimously in their May 21, 2024 regular meeting.
Thank you. Mr. Pedrosa, we have a motion regarding
Yes.
this resolution, please.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, Mr. Shelton, please.
I move that the mayor and council approve resolution number 24-1605.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Shelton, second by Mr. Baldonado to approve resolution number 24-1605. Any questions or comments?
Yes, I have a question, Mayor.
Yes, please, Mr. Baldonado.
Mr. Pedrosa, what is the Series 5 liquor license cost per city? Is it a 5-year?
Mr. Baldonado, Mr. Mayor, the Series 5 liquor license is a government license. It's specifically for government, issued by the state liquor board to government agencies that wish to operate a establishment that serves and sells liquor.
So what cost? Does it have cost for us? I mean, what does it cost the city?
It costs about $170 to renew each year. It's really a minimal cost compared to other liquor licenses. It's designed for, like I said, government agencies.
You mentioned training. Is the training done by the NPC or is it done by someone in city staff?
There's specific classes that they are supposed to go to and get the liquor handling certification for all staff from the MPC that is to be working at the bar.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Valero. Anyone else?
Mayor?
Yes, please, Mrs. Acosta, and then Mrs. Morales.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Pedrosa, do we have financial statements from the NPC for prior years? Do they provide financial statements to the city?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Acosta, yes, we get profit and loss statements every month from the MPC.
Okay, but aside from profit and loss statements, like, do we get more detailed accounting financial statements from them?
Yeah, Ms. Acosta, yes, we do. We get a detailed general ledger report for all accounts and itemized expenses and revenues.
Okay, has there ever been periodic audits done on these financials? Internally with staff, I'm not talking about our audit.
Our audit. Yes, we review those periodically when we report to the MPC. We report those financial statements. Most of the time we try to do it monthly, but the reports are sometimes not readily available. So we probably around quarterly is when we do that.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Morales, please.
Yes. Mr. Pedros, I just have a question. On the effective date, July 1st, 2024, is there an end date or does it automatically renew, just to clarify, every year at the end of June?
So according to the agreement, it's a 1-year agreement that would automatically renew for 1 year thereafter, and there not necessarily an end date, but both parties can cancel with notice, with advance notice at any time.
Is there a specific date for advance notice, 30 days, 60 days?
I don't have that at the top of my head. Let me.
Mr. Fitzgibbon, do you have that?
I'm looking at the agreement. I don't think there, I mean, there's the there's a term clause, just the way Mr. Pedrosa said. And it looks like it's a year to year with a 30-day notice to terminate if the city wanted to terminate.
For 30 days.
30 days. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
And that's a termination for cause.
Pardon me, Dennis, can you repeat?
That's a
that?
30-day, if we had cause to terminate, we just have to give 30 days notice.
Thank you. Anyone else? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Montaño,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton.
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro.
Yes.
Councilmember Richard Acosta.
Yes.
Mayor Potempo Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, motion carries. Item number 9G, discussion decision on resolution number 24-1606. A resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the execution of a contract renewal between the city of Douglas and Alma Vildosala to provide services as a city magistrate for the city of Douglas. Mr. Pedrosa, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Judge Alma Vildosala has been serving as a city magistrate since 2002. Her contract will expire on June 30th, 2024. Judge Vildosala has requested to continue serving as the Douglas City Magistrate as per the court co-location intergovernmental agreement and pursuant to City Charter Article 11, Section 3. The contract renewal is again on a 2-year term with the same salary of, and I'd like to just bring attention to a correction there on the memo. It was at $25,000 and corrected to $30,000. It should be $30,600. That's the corrected amount. And that was approved by mayor and council on June 22nd.
That's,
Last.
that's your 2020.
Right. I think that June 22nd, 2024 date is, it should be 2022. Because this contract renews every 2 years. The contract also includes the annual eligible to receive cost of living increases if approved to all city employees and approved by the mayor and council. So initially in 2022, the council approved a annual $30,000 a year contract. And the reason it's now $30,600 is because of a 2% COLA that was approved by the mayor and council a year ago. The contract ends June 30th, 2026, unless terminated earlier because of a loss of the office of the Justice of the Peace, or if removed by council for cause. So, Mr. Mayor, I just like to bring attention to those corrections, both in the memo and in the contract, that the annual amount is $30,600, and also the monthly is $2,500.50 for the record.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pedrosa. May I have a
And
motion?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, it's a typical, when you deal with a magistrate's contract, the administrative office of the courts would like to see a 2-year agreement. And so they're the ones that request the 2 years.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzgibbon, for that clarification. When I call on you, please. May I have a motion regarding the resolution, please?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, please, Mr. Shelton.
I move the mayor and council approve resolution number 24-1606.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Shelton, second by Mr. Balanego to approve resolution number 24-1606. Mr. Wall, the council will have an opportunity to discuss first, and then I'll call on you. Please. Any questions or comments from the council, please? Hearing none, we have a request to speak on this item by Ms. Alice Mavoa, please.
The reason I'm here is to open your eyes. Alma Vildósola is an illegal alien. This is a fraudulent naturalization certificate. I'm going to pass it around, and I would like you to see it as I'm speaking. No. Unless you want to put the city of Douglas, the taxpayers, where they really will owe millions of dollars to everybody convicted. Look who the signature is of the one. It's IAS, Active Citizenship Campaign Memo. This memo is from Salah. It shows that the Industrial Areas Foundation was behind Citizenship USA, which is what Alma Vildósola got. Okay, watch this. Plan to legalize 1 million aliens. Former HUD Secretary Henry Cisneros and also Javier Becerra, both illegal aliens, both part of the Aztlan movement. They are, and right now, that guy, Becerra, he's a guy from hell for Biden, okay? They're all gonna be exposed. She got it, and this is what it is. Former HUD Secretary, they handed this letter to Bill Clinton, and this is, watch this, the IAF is a radical organization founded by Saul Alinsky, okay? And it is, and this is organization, it's a communist organization, and anybody who wants to see, I'm going to be filing against Alma Vildósola. And before I was city Justice of the Peace, Precinct 2, she's going to be exposed. Now watch this. And this is from Schiffer Score pressured INS to win the 1996 election. And this is what it says, but I had to write it down. The INS concentrated on aliens in key states, California, Florida, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, Texas, that pull a combined of 181 electoral college votes, just 89 short of the total needed to win the presidential election. And this happened in 1996. Alma came in, it wasn't for Arizona. It was for this key states that I just read. And the one who was behind it was Doris Meinzer from the INS. She was a commissioner of the INS. You will see it right there. And also what happened with this thing with with Meiser, she went before Senator Kyle from Arizona. And Senator Kyle, they just talk, but they don't do nothing. And I'm going to tell you this, for decades, the Democrat Party has not won because we have had illegal aliens registered to vote in the local, county, state, and federal level.
Time.
And it's time to, I want to know, do you guys do E-Verify? Cochise County does, the Attorney General or the county attorney. And also everybody who got the oath from Arizona is, you guys are just a bunch of, this is a kangaroo council. So I would tell you, for the sake of the mayor and for the sake of the attorney, get it in order, because all of you will be accountable. You will be accomplices to this crime because I just told you about it. And in about a week, I'll give you the whole case and I'll give it to the attorney. So you guys will see what's going on. So I tell you, before you move on Alma Vildosola, investigate. You've already made her paperwork. Investigate her first and wait for my paperwork. Thank you.
Ms. Navarro.
And God bless.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the council, please? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Montaño,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Richard Acosta,
Yes.
Mayor Potemper Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, motion carries. Item number 9G, discussing, 9H, 9H, discussion decision on resolution number 24-1607. A resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, authorizing the prepayment of the principal and interest owed to Bank of America under the installment purchase agreement dated August 15, 2008, and authorizing the city manager to execute any necessary documents. Mr. Martinez, please.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, staff seeks authorization to redeem the outstanding loan on the call center with Bank of America in the amount of $1,923,089.59 from the unrestricted funds balance reserve. The call center currently has an annual debt service obligation of $460,000 a year. By paying off this loan in full, the city will eliminate this annual burden from the budget, freeing these funds for other critical infrastructure projects. As I said, upon paying off the loan, these funds can be repurposed to address other critical needs within our city. Staff will be recommending at a future meeting that the city allocate these funds towards the acquisition of an asphalt plant and the necessary equipment to support its operation.
Thank you. Mr. Martinez, may I have a motion regarding the resolution, please?
Mayor,
Yes, please, Ms. Morales.
I move that mayor and council approve resolution number 24-1607.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Morales, second by Mr. Montaño to approve resolution number 24-1607. Any questions or comments from the council, please?
I think this is,
Mr.
Mayor,
Shelton,
yeah.
please.
I think this is a good step that we're taking and that now it's paid for in full and we can now determine what needs to go in there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shelton. Anyone else? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Montaño,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton,
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Richard Acosta,
Yes.
Mayor Potemper Morales,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, motion carries. Item number 9I, discussion decision on resolution number 24-1608, a resolution of the mayor and council of the city of Douglas, Cochise County, Arizona, adopting the tentative estimates of the amount required for the public expense of the city of Douglas for fiscal year 2024-2025, adopting a tentative budget, setting forth the receipts and expenditures, the amount proposed to be raised by various means, and giving notice of the time for hearing taxpayers on the adoption of the final budget. Mr. Martinez, please.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the tentative budget adoption for the city of Douglas, based off the city manager's recommended budget, must be approved in accordance with the Arizona Revised Statute 42-171-101. We're basically asking that you set our spending limit for fiscal year 2025. Staff provided a presentation of the proposed fiscal year 24-25 operating budget during the special joint council and finance committee meeting on May 28th of this year. And then another presentation with Q&A with mayor and council on June 5th, 2024. The proposed, and I do want to notate that there have been changes even from the time we drafted this memo, and I will notate what those changes are. The proposed consolidated expenditures for fiscal year 24-25 are $67,768,571. By adopting the tentative budget, the mayor and council set the ceiling in spending for the fiscal year and cannot be increased thereafter. At the final budget adoption scheduled for July 10th, expenditures cannot be increased higher than the established maximum amounts. However, expenses can be moved or reallocated only within the same funds. We also, again, that amount that you see on the memo did change slightly. We did get the final projections from this League of Cities and Towns. These are still projections. They're not the state's final numbers. Those numbers came, the final projections came $20,588 less than the original projection in sales tax and state share with sales tax, income tax, and the vehicle license tax. We got a slight increase in our HERF funding of $10,780, so it's not all bad news.
That's a half a lot. Maybe.
At this point, we'll entertain questions from mayor and council.
Thank you. May I have a motion regarding the resolution, please?
Mayor,
Yes, Mrs. Morales, please.
I move that mayor and council approve resolution number 24-1608.
Is there a second?
Second,
Motion by Ms. Morales, second by Mr. Shelton to approve resolution number 24-1608. Questions or comments from the council?
Mayor?
Yes, please, Mrs. Acosta.
The only thing that I would like to see in the future, and I've brought this up before, is I like that all employees are receiving a bonus. It would be really great to see merit bonuses instead. I think that's can help morale. It can build up, better working environments and work ethics, and it'd just be great to see merit bonuses rather than just straight across the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Acosta, and I agree with you 100%. Any other questions, comments, please?
Mayor,
Yes, please, Mr. Bolanengo.
Mr. Martinez, you mentioned that whatever funds we have to move around, I mean, who decides what funds have to be we will? By their direction?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Valdenegro, it is your prerogative and decision to move once we've established that the ceiling tonight, if that's your desire. From now until July 10th, if you wanted to move monies around before the final adoption, that would be your prerogative.
Or anything, not just what's budgeted here,
I'm sorry?
for anything that we want, right?
Right.
Mayor, if I may,
Yes, please.
it's just to clarify,
Yeah.
so we take all of your direction. This
Right.
is ultimately your package, but staff will strongly make recommendations, and we do have to balance. So if there's something from one thing, I do need to then figure out what its impact is and where we would take money to accommodate whatever that new item is. So it is a little bit of a process and a study with a recommendation that would be made for your consideration.
Thank you, Mr. Keel. Anyone else?
That's good.
Please.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have a
Yes,
question.
please, Mr. Acosta.
Mr. Martinez, I know that from the last memorandum that we got, the balanced budget, did increase. Before July 10th, do you think we'll get any more changes in numbers?
Mr. Mayor, Councilmember Acosta, so once we establish the spending limit, it can only go down after that, between now and July 10th. The things that we're still not sure about is our state shared revenues. We have the latest possible, and they call it the final estimation from the League of Cities and Towns here in Arizona. But the actual final numbers, I don't anticipate getting them until probably 7 to 10 days from now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Again, I may add, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Martinez, this is a conservative high. If everything falls in place and we receive all the money we need, we're ever gonna receive, we're good to go.
Mr. Mayor, that would be correct. And we did take some measures this year, as we explained during the last 2 meetings, where in case we receive less than we anticipate or less than the projections, we have some maneuvering that we can do from reserves and whatnot.
Perfect. Thank you. Anyone else? I'd like to congratulate, oh, I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to make a comment.
Please.
I just wanted
Carlos.
to congratulate Mr. Martinez and Mrs. Okijo and all the staff that worked on the budget. It's amazing that every year you guys present a balanced budget for the council, mayor and council to review and approve. So you should pat yourselves on the back. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Morales. Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, please.
You also received a copy of the Red Line City Manager's memo. So it shows clearly what the changes are as far as the numbers are concerned.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, we also have a member of the public that would like to speak on this item.
Mr. Mark Murmas, please.
Good evening, Mayor. Good evening, council members. I have a question in here. I've went through this budget program plenty of times here. And I have a question. One of my biggest concern was here is maybe you can be able to educate me or let me know about this. Upgrade and relocate of the Jet A fuel tanks. Do we have our airport that busy continuously that we have? And is our jet fuel tanks, are they in a stage of remediation? Or they just need to be moved from one place to another? Because I know that there is belch tanks that you can actually, if the tanks are savable, you can put a belch tank inside of it, which is the black insert of it, and it doesn't cost $1 million. Number two, that I look up inside of here, I see a new pilot's lounge for $274,000. I don't know what this pilot lounge is. Can I be maybe informed a little bit about it? That's a lot of money for a pilot lounge in there.
Are those your 2 questions?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for your inquiry. Mr. Pedrosa, please, I know there's a multiple issue regarding the jet fuel tanks. And if I took you into the pilot's lounge, you'd want to leave immediately, the current one. So I'll allow Mr. Pedrosa or Mr. Akiko to comment on that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council and members of the audience. Yeah, that's correct. The Jet A fuel station where it's currently located presents problems for large aircraft to access the fueling facilities. It is more ideal to move the facilities to the center of the main apron where there's maneuverability capabilities there. It's actually where the low lead station is located. So therefore, co-locating the 2 low lead and Jet A stations in the same main apron would provide the pilots the ability to self-service their fueling. And regarding the tanks are old, and with the movement of the pump over to the center of the apron, it would make sense to also look at replacing those tanks. We talked to one vendor, that was their recommendation. Obviously, we would need to bid it out, and we can certainly do more research on that. But the first vendor recommended that we'd probably want to, once we're doing all that moving, we'd probably look at replacing the tanks at the same time. Regarding the question about the Pilots Lounge, the Pilots Lounge is in need of upgrades. It's a trailer that we got from Lifeline. It's refurbished. We've been able to make do with what we have there. We get pilots to stop in, rest, and it's not the greatest presentation that we could put forward. We're trying to improve image and the operations there at the airport. So certainly we're trying to upgrade that a little bit and just improve the aspect there. I'd also like to mention that those two capital improvements are subject to the sale of land that the mayor and council are currently considering. So if that sale of land comes through and we receive those proceeds, that's where currently we've allocated that funding. So if unfortunately, if that sale doesn't go through, then we wouldn't be able to go through with those capital improvements.
Mayor, may I add?
Please, Mr. Keel.
I would add that we have also received reports on pilots not being able to maneuver because of the location of the Jet A fuel and going elsewhere. So we do know that that is an impact, and we are trying to increase, obviously, our presence out there and be able to provide a service that helps us with increased numbers. So we have many state agencies outside, even from our congressional districts, that fly in, and we'll have to go to BDI if they have to refuel. So it has impacted us from that perspective in a negative way. Just wanted to add that.
Thank you. If I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I am. This also was part of the assessment that we had on the airport. Also was the recommendation for the fueling.
Correct.
That's correct, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Murmas, and please feel free to contact staff at any time for any questions.
Thank you.
That you may have.
Appreciate it.
Hope that clarifies. Any other questions or comments from the council? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Montaño,
Yes.
Councilmember Acosta,
Yes.
Councilmember Shelton.
Yes.
Councilmember Valdenegro,
Yes.
Councilmember Richard Acosta.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tempore Morales.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, motion carries. Item number 10, city manager report, please.
Mayor, members of the council, community members, I have a few updates on our community calendar. Summer fun is underway and all summer programming is in full swing. Starting this week, we have a list of these activities. At the library, summer reading program, free family story times, crafts, programs, and special events started June 3rd and will end July 26th. There is something going on every day. Tomorrow, June 13th, we have a free foam party at Castro Park starting at 2 p.m. and free tie-dye event at 2 p.m. on Tuesday, the 18th. Also, our special events and recreation staff is hosting summer camp at Clausen Elementary. Fun activities, Clausen Multipurpose Room, June 3rd to June 27th, Monday through Thursday from 8 to noon. Free breakfast and lunch provided by DUSD, structured and fun activities. The fee is $20 per week or $45 for the month for ages 5 to 12. Swimming lessons for all ages 6 months and above, and based on their abilities, $35 per session for 8 classes. We do have a new and growing program, competitive swim club, $80 a month, and we have a planned swim meet already with Cananea scheduled for July 6th. Also open swim Wednesday to Sunday, 1 to 5, currently at the aquatic until the 8th Street pool comes online. And of course, we have upcoming events for 4th of July, continued movies in the park, and we are planning an upcoming wrestling event. Dates for those two latter items will be forthcoming. Also, in other announcements, I want to make sure the community knows we had 2 water wells down this week. Well number 16, which is located near the fairgrounds, needed a new motor. It is the second highest producing well. The motor was replaced yesterday. Our neighborhood to the east of town, Alegre neighborhood, did experience low water pressure, and our staff delivered drinking water to their homes as a precaution. The pump, the motor has been repaired, and we are filling the reservoir, and things are looking good. We're almost back to normal levels on our reservoir. The other well that's down is well number 9. This one was due to positive testing of hydrocarbons. It's located near 24th Street and Lewis Avenue. This is not a high producing well, and it has been taken offline, and we are going through our protocols of flushing and retesting. So as a result of this happening this week, we did have to restrict water at our parks, our golf course, city facilities, and also coordinated with the Unified School District properties for a few days. The pool project, unfortunately, was also impacted by a couple of days, but should be moving along. So with the Veterans Park update, things are moving along. We're doing bond coating this week. Filtration and pumps are to be completed tomorrow. All of the tiling also tomorrow before plastering begins. Crews are preparing for this plastering to be completed by Friday, which was supposed to be completed today, but because of the water issues, a couple days delay there. Decking will start on Monday, and we are all hands on deck out there doing final touches on the facility and concrete cuts. We are working with an electrician to make a few corrections inside the facility, and the bathrooms are being renovated as well. So all of that's looking good. We have a target date for June 26th for a grand reopening, barring any further problems, and notice will go out as soon as we are more fixed on that date. Also on CDBG, our draft consolidated plan for 24 through 28, fiscal years 24 through 28, including the annual action plan for fiscal year 24, is posted on our website for public review and comment. The comment period began June 6th and will end July 8th. It will be brought before Mayor and Council next month. Also, our compliance requires entitlement communities to assess our local barriers preventing residents from achieving fair housing choice. So the draft analysis of impediments to fair housing choice document has also been prepared to update the existing document, which was last done in 2014, the city's first year as an entitlement community. This document will also be presented next month to Mayor and Council. Last, just a reminder from our public safety departments, because summer is here, a reminder to check the backseat of your car, never leave your children or pets unattended in your car as they can succumb to the heat. State law allows anyone observing an unattended child or pet to take reasonable actions to include breaking your window to render aid. House checks. If you are planning a summer vacation and would like to request police to perform checks of your residence or business while you're away, please contact the police department at 520-364-2677 or visit the police department website and fill out the house check request under the How Do I tab. Those are my reports. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Arquigo. Item number 11, informational items and reports from council on future agenda items requests. Are there any?
Mr. Mayor.
Mrs. Morales, please.
I just have a couple of thank you. I wanted to thank Ismael for the really colorful billboard sign at exit 303 going into Benson. So if you go that way, be sure you look at it. It's really nice. Did a great job on there. And I also want to thank Jennifer Smith and her staff and the cemetery workers. They're doing a great job with the beautification. If you ever go by 3rd Street or what is it? Dolores. Please take a look at it because it's really coming out really, really beautiful, and it's going to look really nice once they get the wrought iron up. And then lastly, I also want to thank Mrs. Urquijo for meeting with me on my one-on-one. It's very much appreciated. Not only is it very informative, but it's also gives me an opportunity to ask her questions on her weekly updates. So thank you again for all your time. You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Morales. Anyone else?
Mayor, I just want to check
Please,
on the
Mr. Suarez.
status of our fire hydrants. Since it is fire season and we do have the assistant chief here. I'd just like to know, are all our fire hydrants up to? If you could, please.
As far as I know, they're all up to date. I think some from the water department may give you a better answer, but as far as I know, yes, they are.
And so what's up 4th of July activities, Ms. Smith?
Well, she's coming up, Mr. Bodenegro. I'll make sure to get you a hydrant update and include it in our updates.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Mr. Bodenegro, we're planning the Fourth of July festivities on July 4th. We'll start with the 10 a.m. parade as usual. We'll have festivities at the park. We're looking at a couple tournaments, family fun. The pool will be open, so it's going to be a nice addition to the park. And we end with fireworks in the evening.
Did we add more to the firework budget or?
Mayor,
Mayor?
Councilmember Bodenegro, we did not. We had an increase and it's a great budget. Covers so many needs, but it was also a difficult balancing act this year, so we did not.
I just have one more question. On the pool, the chlorine or salt water, which was the difference between the price? On the chlorine,
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Bodenegro, we would have to check on the price. This will be a chlorine type of chemical that we're using. We're not using the salt type of filtration system. We can check on that certainly.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bonrego. Anyone else? Item number 12. We'll move on to item number 12, adjournment. May I have a motion to adjourn?
Mayor,
Yes, Ms. Morales.
I move to adjourn our council meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Ms. Morales, second by Mr. Shelton to adjourn our regular meeting of June 12th, 2024. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed by nay? The ayes have it. We stand adjourned at 7:26.
Have a good evening, Dennis.
All
Thank
right,
you.
you guys, have a nice evening. Take care.
Still a neighbor.
I'm not.
No. It could be our neighbor.